What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and today we're talking about an Ultra League team, and specifically an Anti-Steelix team. And if you're not sure why you might need or want to consider an entire Anti-Steelix team, well, let me break it down, because this season, as you're probably aware, there's been a huge set of updates to PvP in general and Go Battle League. The moves have been shifted all over the place. There's been nerfs handed out, there's been buffs handed out, there's new moves present, and Pokemon got access to moves they didn't have access to before. And one of the changes is Steelix got access to Breaking Swipe, which you might recognise from them giving it to Rayquaza recently, which massively buffed that thing through the roof. It is basically it's like Dragon Claw, but it drops the opponent's attack when you throw it. And on something bulky like Steelix, already has access to Dragon Tail as a fast move. This is very, very powerful of a combination and really makes Steelix a top tier contender in the Ultra League in general. So I was expecting to see quite a lot of them when Ultra League came in. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to make a team that can just handle it no matter what if we run into it. And then if you guys see you're running into it and you find it being a pain to deal with, maybe you want to consider this team. Now, is the team perfect? Absolutely not. And does it have a couple of extra vulnerabilities to a completely well-balanced team? Maybe. Like, you can't really run a team where L3 Pokemon beat something strong in the meta and not pick up one or two weaknesses across that meta as well. And this team in particular, I think, is a little bit weak to Trevenant. If you find yourself running into a lot of Trevenants, then maybe stay away from this team, to be honest, because I have won against Trevenants, but it definitely requires lining up Alolan Sandslash with it, or maybe like Cobalion with shields down. But speaking about that, anyway, let's talk about the team specifically. We're going to be running Tapu Fini on the lead, Water Gun, Surf, brilliant combo for taking down Steelix. It's also part Fairy type for resisting those Dragon Tails and Breaking Swipe combinations. It can survive an Earthquake very comfortably as well from Steelix if it decides to throw that. And Earthquake recently got a little bit of a nerf this season, so it's a little bit less scary. On the Say Swap, we're probably going to be using Cobalion, is the most common Say Swap we're going to be using on this team. Cobalion with Sacred Sword, Double Kick, Stone Edge, like great coverage, great typing, does very, very, very well. I did try Virizion in place of Cobalion on this team, and it did not perform as well. I thought, oh, maybe I want a bit more coverage against things like Swampert and stuff like that. But honestly, Cobalion does just fine. And I was finding Virizion was getting locked in tougher matchups than Cobalion in general. So I do recommend Cobalion over Virizion for this particular team. And then also in the back, we're going to be running Alolan Sandslash with Shadow Claw, Ice Punch and Drill Run. You can run Powder Snow instead if you want, but I think that Shadow Claw is just going to do a little bit better for you. Now, this team does have the added bonus of everything on the team just resists dragon damage in general. If you run into Dragon Breath Giratina, you're in the same position. Everything on this team beats Dragon Breath Giratina, even Cobalion, because those Stone Edges add up so much and you're just taking so little damage from those Dragon Breaths and Dragon Claws and maybe even Ancient Power if that's what they decide to throw at you. If you're looking for some alternative picks for this team or even some cheaper picks, instead of Cobalion, you could run Machamp, but again, you're going to lose that resistance to the dragon damage from things like Steelix, which is going to cost you in some matchups. Instead of Alolan Sandslash, you could run Warrain, again, giving up that dragon resistance, but also it makes you a little bit less vulnerable to fire and to fighting as well, even though Warrain still loses to fighters, but it's just not taking that double super effective damage. Tapu Fini is hard to replace on a team because that Water Fairy typing is so unique and strong. If you want some budget alternative picks, you could opt for Gyarados with Dragon Breath and Aqua Tail. You could opt for Swampert. They're not going to play the same way as Tapu Fini, but they're going to give you similar kinds of coverage, especially against the fire types like Charizard and Talonflame. But it's not really going to give you the same defensive boosts that the Fairy typing gives Tapu Fini. Blastoise could do pretty well. It's pretty bulky, and that's Hydro Cannon and Water Gun, and also Ice Beam to still threaten like maybe like some Dragon types like Dragonite and Giratina. Again, not quite as strong in that position, but will still do pretty well, and also will still beat Steelix. Greninja might sound tempting on the surface because of its incredible Water Shuriken Hydro Cannon combination, but I wouldn't pair that with Alolan Sandslash and Cobalion because you're going to have the triple weakness to fighting at that point, and that is really not a position you want to put yourself in. There are still Scrafties out there, there are Obstagons, there are Machamps, there's Virizions and Cobalions out there that will ruin you if you pair those three up together. Now, if you do have the choice of which Pokemon on this team to align with Steelix, Tapu Fini is going to be the best out of the three for dealing with Steelix, just because you're double resisting the Dragon Tails and the Breaking Swipes, so they kind of have to go for the Earthquake, and now Earthquake does less than 50%. It does on my Tapu Fini because it's PvP IVs. It might be just around 50% damage it might do if you've got like a raid IVs Tapu Fini to build, but Tapu Fini is the strongest pick against it overall. I would say Cobalion's then the next strongest because you can survive an Earthquake very comfortably, and you get that spammy Sacred Sword coming through. And then Alolan Sandslash, I think Alolan Sandslash can still take an Earthquake pretty comfortably, but I don't like that matchup quite as much as the other two. It's still a very strong matchup, you're still going to be very comfortable, and you can still take an Earthquake very easily. But Tapu Fini, if you have a choice, that's the one you want to line up with Steelix, ideally. Okay, so if you run into a Tapu Fini lead, I recommend you just stay in with your own Tapu Fini and just play it out. I like to bait the Surf rather than just throwing Moonblast straight away. This opponent actually catches our Surf onto a Registeel, which isn't the worst thing in the world because we can just get Cobalion in here. Cobalion's very good against Registeel because, again, you can survive a Focus Blast very comfortably, and you can just spam these Sacred Swords through to wear them down. We might even be able to farm them down with one more Sacred Sword, whereas normally you might need to throw 3 just because of that extra little bit of surf damage, just chipping them down that bit extra, so we take them straight out, that's fine. And we're probably going to get to a Stone Edge to throw at the Tapu Fini if it comes back in as well. They're going to throw straight away, no worries at all, we're just going to let it go. It's no stress at all. That means we're kind of similar on energy again to where we were before because we've both thrown a Surf. And we're just going to probably shield this up now. We're expecting the Moonblast, and it is. That's a very nice position for us to be in. Are we going to bait again? We are. We've still got 2, well, they've still got 2 shields left. So there's a good chance they'll shield up. They do. Now we're in a very strong position. We'll go for the Moonblast. If they shield this up, that's fine. We don't mind. But if they don't, it takes them out. They do shield up. Completely fine. We're just going to wait and see. We're not going to shield this up now. We're going to give a shield to Sandslash, and hopefully he can just sweep the rest of the game. And there's the Steelix in the back. So we're going to go for the draw run. You're going to need 3 charge moves from a non-Shadow Alolan Sandslash. If you have a Shadow Alolan Sandslash, that's going to work great on this team as well, and it is going to be able to 2-shot Steelix with the draw runs, whereas because we're running a regular, we're going to need 2 draw runs and then probably an Ice Punch as well to finish them off. But still a pretty good matchup for you overall. I believe this opponent, yeah, we're just going to take them out straight away. We don't want to risk them getting to like a Break and Swipe or an Earthquake or whatever and taking us out. This should just be a Surf. It's not going to take us out, and then we're going to be able to get to a charge move, finish them off, and take the win. But like I said, Tapu Fini lead, just stay in, play it out, go tit for tat. I think Tapu Fini is quite a good counter to Alolan Sandslash, and it does pretty well against Cobalion as well, so you might as well just keep in that matchup, deal with the Tapu, and then hopefully those two in the back are going to have good play for you anyway. Okay, Trevenant lead. Here's a masterclass on how not to play this out, because honestly, you run into a Trevenant lead with this team, just stay in with Tapu Fini. I know it's an awful lead. The Water Guns do start chipping away, the Water Guns and the Surfs. You can take one Seed Bomb reasonably comfortably, so they're going to have to throw 2 charge moves at you as well. You can do quite a bit of work on them and probably put them into Shadow Claw downrange for Alolan Sandslash, and then hopefully Cobalion's got good play in the back once it gets past a Trevenant. But right now we've led on that we're double weak to Trevenant here already. They're stopping in, which means they've probably got another answer for Tapu Fini in the back, which is kind of scary. We're going to make it to a Stone Edge and hit him for reasonable damage here. All shields are down, but this just isn't what you want to do in this matchup. Like I said, we got all the shields down, we still got a Stone Edge through, and the Trevenant's still healthy. We have to throw this Ice Punch, or the Trevenant will probably make it to a Shadow Ball and do big damage to us as well. So we've not got switch advantage, we've not got the alignment that we want. There's an Ampharos here, which makes me think that they may have another counter, because this is weird. It's like Ampharos is a good counter to Tapu Fini, right? So why have they brought it into Sandslash, knowing we've got Fini in the back? I'm not particularly sure. Well, we're going to know in a minute. They're going to get us pretty low here, but we are going to be able to take out the Ampharos. And then we're thinking maybe they're weak to Sandslash in the back, and maybe we've completely just messed up our alignment here. And there it is, the Magna Zone. So if we'd have stayed in with Tapu Fini against the Trevenant, we probably would have lost switch advantage, but we would have been able to take them out preserve Cobalion, which would have done pretty well against either Ampharos or Magnezone. Sandslash does well in those matchups as well because of the draw run potential, and we might have still been able to bring that game back, even though it was a Trevenant lead. And we just give up Tapu Fini to Trevenant because it turned out it was weak to everything on the opposing team. Anyway, if you're double weak to the lead, just stay in and just do what you can. Right, this matchup, we're going to choose to catch the second Earthquake on Cobalion, which is not a clever decision against this Warren, so we're going to shield up anyway, and we pull out a Dragon Breath Giratina. Now, they do have 2 shields, we have 1, so they are going to be able to take this matchup if they want. I did say that Cobalion does beat Dragon Breath Giratina, and that is in neutral shields. If they have extra shields and they can shield up a Stone Edge, they're going to be able to take that matchup from you. But look at how little these Dragon Breaths and these Dragon Claws are doing. There's no pressure on us at all. We can just throw these Stone Edges. We're going to get this one off, and we will make it to a third one, which will take them out if they do not give up a shield, which is, you know, that's solid for a that's not a good counter swap, you know. Like, if it's got Shadow Claw, Giratina shreds this matchup and it's very, very powerful for you. But Dragon Breath, losing that offensive damage on your fast move, it just costs you so much. I'm going to throw a Sacred Sword here just because we're not quite going to make it to another Stone Edge. So if we'd have actually baited, when we threw the third Stone Edge, if we'd have baited with a Sacred Sword, we could have then got to a Stone Edge as well and maybe got both shields or taken them out, which would have been immense for us. That's how good that matchup flips to if Giratina's running Dragon Breath. Charizard in the back. We've still got health on Tapu Fini. For some reason, this opponent swapped out aggressively into Charizard knowing we had Tapu Fini still. So, not sure why, but that makes this matchup a little bit more comfortable for us. We're just going to take them out. And I believe they actually quit here because we did no shield that Dragon Claw, which might have looked a bit cocky and unnecessary, but it's a very safe no shield because if they had a Blast Burned us and taken us out, we could have just then still made it to an Ice Punch, which would have finished the Charizard off because the Water Guns had already added up so much. We still had a shield to make sure we could shield up a Blast Burn if for some reason the Charizard got to that against Sandslash as well. So not that scary of a situation overall, but the opponent definitely, I think, just closed the app or whatever there. But GG's all the same. Now, this is a spicy one. Roserade. Now, Roserade has access to Weather Ball, Fire Weather Ball specifically, as a charge move, which is not something that we like to see for this team because Alolan Sandslash is double weak to it, Cobalion's weak to it, and also then it's a grass type, so it's going to be good against Tapu Fini. So, kind of a curveball pick. You know, I wasn't expecting to really see Roserade, but it does okay against this team. It's got decent coverage against us, but we're just going to we're going to come in with Cobalion, and because we know we can take the Weather Balls fairly comfortably. I started regretting this decision partway through this matchup because I was like, wait, doesn't Roserade run, what is it, the nuke move? They've got a nuke grass move that debuffs them when they throw it. And I was like, well, then they have to throw that against Tapu Fini, which they're going to be pressured to not throw and whatever, so maybe it puts it in our advantage. But it turns out that this Roserade is actually running Grass Knot and Weather Ball, so we might have made the right call by swapping out, to be honest, into Cobalion. They're going to eventually swap out into Cresselia, into our Cobalion, but it's after the switch timer's up, so we can bring in Alolan Sandslash here, dominate this matchup, and get really ahead on energy. So we're going to have 1.5, I think, Ice Punches stocked up here when we come out, which the Roserade's not going to want to come in and see because that thing is very squishy. Empoleon comes in instead. We're going to double draw on them. We're going to take them out or do big damage. First one comes through, big damage. Second draw run, are they going to shield up? Probably not, because Roserade is squishy, needs the shield, that's fine. And now we swap out aggressively into Tapu Fini, and this is still with the knowledge that they might have had, what's the move? Is it Leaf Storm or something like that? It's the big nuke grass move, like I said, that drops their attack after they throw it. So I was like, well, if they've got that move, they'll have to throw it at Tapu Fini first, debuff themselves, and then hopefully Sandslash has got enough health while they're debuffed for it to get to Ice Punches to finish them off. Turns out it's Grass Knot, and they just tried to bait us with Weather Ball, and we no-shielded it, so that was lucky for us, because now that means we can... No, it doesn't. Oh, okay, they're going to take out Sandslash. This is... Roserade is so spammy with Bullet Seed and with Weather Ball, but you know what? Cobalion's here to save the day. Just make it to a Sacred Sword, and we're going to take them out to take the win. GG. Right, and while we're speaking about Pokemon that have had a slight update with this new season, Golisopod. Now it has access to X-Scissor, which did get shifted slightly, I believe, this season. I believe it got a raise to its damage output, but also a raise to its energy cost, so it's a little bit less spammy. I suppose you could look at it either way, whether that's a buff or a nerf. I'm not sure where its overall energy to damage efficiency has gone, whether that's gone up or down. But I just think it's just a change to it and how it plays overall. But this thing is still very strong. We're going to stay in with Tapu Fini just because Golisopod does okay against Cobalion. I mean, you got to get a Stone Edge through, and that won't. Well, it might one-shot it actually. It's quite squishy, but we don't like to get it against Alolan Sandslash either because it's resisting the charge moves. So we're just staying with Tapu Fini, deal with it. There's a Steelix in the back that comes in. We're going to meet it with Cobalion rather than Sandslash. I've got a feeling that Sandslash will have play against whatever's in the back since they had Golisopod on the lead. Just me trying to read the team here. We're going to let this go. Even if it's Earthquake, it won't take us out. 'Tis the Earthquake, does a big chunk of damage, but not too much. There's the Giratina in the back. Weak to the Sandslash. We can just spam these Ice Punches and take them out. They are not going to be able to finish us off with Ancient Powers. They'd need to boost, really, to win this matchup. They might even need to boost twice. I'm not sure. No, I think if they boosted the second Ancient Power, it'd be quite threatening with the buff Shadow Claw damage as well. But we're very, very comfortable here. We're just going to let this go again and then just spam some more Ice Punches at them. And Cobalion's in a very comfortable position to finish off the Steelix as well. In fact, if this Giratina goes down, then Sandslash is going to be able to threaten it as well. We just got the Sacred Sword ready. We're going to swap, throw it, get the knife in there, finish them off nice and quick. GG's. Right, I'm going to leave you guys with this game that I made an absolute shambles of. So, let me know what you think of the team down below. Are you playing Ultra League or are you playing it's the Element Cup remix currently at the minute, isn't it, as well, alongside, which I don't mind. It's nice for getting quick games, playing them out, spamming out your matches, especially early on in the season when you're just grinding out the wins rather than climbing up and down in ELO, and you might be just trying to play your games as fast as possible. Element Cup's a lot of fun. I personally just prefer the Ultra League overall. It's like I said, it's been my favourite league in Go Battle League for a good while now. But let me know what you guys are playing and what your targets are for this season in Go Battle League. If there's anything interesting that you've been running into, or new move sets that you want me to take a look at. And as always, I will catch you absolute legends next time.